Alright, so I guess since I'm making these textures, you guys need to know how to implement them. So just a quick base overview. You guys have three different things usually. You have a CM, an NG, and add. CM is just color and metalness. NG stands for normal and glossiness, and add just has a bunch of weird stuff in it. If you ever want to know what things are, I'll put a link to this. This is the guide to it, and you can see this color, it tells you what it is, and you got this one here too and two. So yeah. Additionally, it's important to note that if you actually want to export it, you can also take a look at this one, which tells you how it needs to be exported and the support resolutions. So anyways, so once you've exported it, for example, let's take a look at Damascus I exported a little while ago. So I've got my source files, and of course I have the actual ones. So I have these TIFFs, these are ones that Blender views, and you have DDSs, which are the export ones that go over to SE. So yeah, it's important to note that all these textures are in the same file path relative to the base directory. So here we have this, everything's in the same position. So since this is here, the file path it's going to take inside the textures folder is going to be the same for both the DDSs and the TIFFs. So if we actually go into Blender, we can see that we go here, and I go to shading, and I click on this thing. Let me go turn this on. We can see that metal 016. Let's go turn this into Damascus actually. Let's change this texture to that's weird. What's going on? I'll go show you how to make a new one then. So anyways, so go here, you can click on this, and go ahead and go here. So here, since we don't have an alpha, so there's no holes in it, we can just click no alpha and create the material. Let's just call this one Damascus. I don't know if I spelled that right. Anyways, so we can just go here, we can just open up the CM, and then we can go over here to textures, and then to Damascus, and then click on the TIFF, so cm.tiff, and then as long as the CM and the DDS are in the same relative directory in terms of where the texture, in terms of where the TIFF is, or inside the texture directory should be fine, then we get the add, so we go to textures, Damascus, add.tiff, and ng open, Damascus, add, ng.tiff. So anyways, we got that there. We can go ahead and do a quick save, and yeah, that's pretty much all it is. So it's important to note if you have multiple models, you have to recreate the texture and shading every single time, unless you want to create a material library, which is kind of hard. This is only a couple steps, so it shouldn't be that bad, as long as you're not like mass producing things, which we kind of aren't right now. So anyways, so once you have that there, we can export, and then once we export, it exports the data for, yeah, I was like, what did that just do? It exports the data for where the files are, and you can just go here. We can just go ahead and confirm that, yes, these files are still in the same place, and then we put the models and data where it's supposed to go, and we can go over here, we can load it up, and we'll take a look at what it looks like. So yeah, as you can see over here, it worked. And there it is. It's important to note that these textures are not going to look the same as in Blender, as in here, because that's definitely not the same. But overall, it's more or less similar, except for the top one. This one's like a weird one. But yeah. Also should probably show you how I export these things. So essentially, the big idea is that if you're going to combine it, let me just show you how to do this really quick. Let's go over here. Here I have this, here, let's go to textures. I have this hammerite. I've already created a source folder, so it's all good to go. Let's go and go over to Photoshop. I'm going to close these things. Don't need you, don't need you, and don't need you. I'm going to open up this. Over here, let's go back here to hammerite, the source. Just open up all these things. And we got albedo, height, normal, and roughness. So generally we just kind of have to like guess a little bit on what things are. I'm just going to guess that albedo is color here, which isn't exactly the best thing to do, but oh well. So I'm just going to press Control A, Control C, or Control V. Looks like it's 2048, which is support texture resolution, which is wonderful. Let's go ahead and put that in here. Let's paste it. And then, okay, so now we've gotten there, we can see that. Okay, so we're in the CM right now. We have the color. Let's go add the metalness. So we have a metalness on here. Where are we? Photoshop? Nope. Photoshop. Height, normal, roughness. Well, honestly, there's really not one, but we can kind of guess. So you can go ahead and see here that metalness is a black and white map only, and where is it? Where is it going to be? I'm trying to figure out, is metalness going to be a white or not? Ah, there we go. So metalness, no metalness is black, all metalness can be white. So basically, let's go over here, let's go to Photoshop, let's just create a new alpha layer. We can just go ahead and make sure we got white here. We can just paint dump it in. There we go. So there's our CM. Let's go save this as a TIFF first. So we can go over here, and the main thing, we're going to say this is a TIFF path. It doesn't matter. This is what I'm using right now, though. Pretty default. Let's go ahead and create our NG. So go over to normal. We can copy, create a file, create, Control V, and then glossiness. Honestly, we can probably use roughness for that. Oh my gosh, did I not say this as something? Let's go ahead and rename this as hammerite_CM. Gotta get actual naming conventions here. Here, we got that. Let's go to our channels, create our alpha channel, Control V. There we go. Should make it visible, then Control Shift or just Control S. TIFF here, you can call it hammerite_NG. Yes, please. Boom. And then we have our additive. So what is additive? So additive here we have reddish ambient collision, emissivity, and dirt. So at this point, I'm usually just going to go ahead and start out by going to Photoshop. What have we not used? We've used our betas, we can just delete this. These are normal, yes. These are roughness, yes. So height, honestly, we could probably use that for ambient occlusion, right? Sort of makes sense. Not really sure, but it's close enough. So we can go ahead and create Control New, Control V, go and paste it in here. Now I'm going to go channels. Oop, it's all grayscale. So we can go to image, mode, RGB, we got all that. Now we can just go ahead and go in here. So this is going to be ambient occlusion, so we can make emissivity all black and dirt's all white. Let's just do that. I have my bucket tool tolerance up to 255, so I don't have to worry about messing, not getting the entire thing. But anyways, this is going to be white, and there we go. Once that, TIFF is going to be this _ADT. There you go. Should probably go in here and delete the untitled one. Now we can go into our Blender, go in here, make sure everything's saved, go over to shading, let's create the material, let's call it, so no alpha, create material, open, it's going to be called hammerite, let's name it first, hammerite, textures, hammerite, it's going to be CM, it's going to be textures, hammerite, this is the add, yes it is, good, then textures, hammerite, G. There we go. So that's on Blender. Now before we actually go ahead and export this and make sure everything is good, we just need to go over to Photoshop, make sure we export these things in the first place to DDSs. So let's go over here, let's do this one by one. So we go and start with this. I'm just going to Control Shift S this. We're going to go to, I'm using the Intel TextureWorks. This is what most people use for this, I guess. Go here, and if we go take a look at this, we note that the export for CMs is BC7 UNorm sRGB. I'll just show you the settings I have. I just have a preset for it, but this is what I'm using for this. Press OK, it saves. After a little while, let's go and do this for this one too. This is going to be, again, a DDS file. Now this is going to be, what does it say here? It says BC7 UNorm, so it's not sRGB, it's just UNorm. So where is it going to be? Photoshop. I just have this one here for it. It's the settings I use. It works mostly. And then this one here, this is going to be just a normal sRGB save as well. So sRGB, save, and there we go. So we got everything set up, it's all in the right area, yay. So really, when you're actually doing things to save some space, you can just like not include these files and not include these, but just when you're debugging, it's nice to have all this together. Anyways, so once we got that, we can go to Blender, save everything, export all scenes. Wow, one scene successfully exported, wonderful. And let's just go ahead and go over here. I can just reload textures. So that's great. And reload models. So there we go. It's in there. And that's kind of cute, actually. I haven't seen this one yet. Anyways, that's it. Thank you.